guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and today I am doing Comic Uno episode 57, and this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show. So let's get started. We're going to worst pick of the week to best pick of the week, but before I start talking about the comics, I do want to talk a little bit about Batman Day. What did I get at the comic book store? I realized that the free comic is actually a comic I already got, so I didn't end up reading it because I skimmed through it and I was like, oh, I read this already. So it's Detective Comics issue 27, just with a different cover. So if you didn't get it, it's a pretty good story. Check out my review. I did an in-depth review on Comic Uno, so be sure to check that out if you want my review for it. So I got that for Batman Day. Got this really cool bag. Detective Comics, 75 years. There you go. And also I'm wearing my 75-year Batman shirt I actually got on vacation. I went to the Warner Brothers studios, so I was able to buy this shirt, and I was like, I gotta get that. And also from my store, I got this, the mask. But not just one. I got Adam West mask. All four. So I got all four Batman masks, so I hope I could wear it for something. Really cool. Enjoyed that. So it's got some cool little goodies I wanted to show you guys before I start my Comic Uno episode 57. But let's get started. We're going 11 to all the way to 1, so worst pick of the week to best pick of the week. Number 11 is Batman Eternal, issue 16. What a surprise! Yeah, actually it is a surprise, because I think Batman Eternal is a roller coaster ride. I've been saying this. Sometimes they got some good issues, so I was like, yeah, think about issue 3, issue 1, they were like my best pick of the weeks. And then there's these like really mediocre issues, like Batman Eternal issue 16. Yeah, I just thought this was a very fillerish issue. The artwork is bulky. I don't like how they colored in the faces. It just made it look even more bulky. Here's a good example of Batman's face over here. So yeah, just very bulky art, and most of the story is filler. It's about Spectre and Batwing, most of the story. And honestly, if you want to tell that story, go ahead. Go tell him Batwing. Yeah, I know Spectre doesn't have his own series, so go to Batwing, tell a story. This has nothing to do with Batman Eternal, so like, why are they telling this story? I have no idea. It just bored me, especially since I don't really like Spectre, Batwing, I haven't been reading, so like, I don't really care about this. Give me more about Jim Gordon. Give me more about, you know, Red Hood and Batgirl, or Red Robin, anything. Like, this just wasn't entertaining as most of the issues. So, I gotta give it 2 stars. I just didn't like it. It felt fillerish to me, which a lot of the Batman Eternal issues have been doing. And also the artwork wasn't great. Alright, so number 10 is, of course, where there's a Batman Eternal, there's a Future's End. Issue 12. Yeah, Future's End. Another story I just felt didn't go anywhere. There, you know, most of the stories about C-list heroes that I don't really care about, and these stories are not making me care about them that much. I think the one thing that Future's End did better than Batman Eternal had a good cliffhanger. I'm gonna say Batman and Joker, they meet face to face. We don't know what version of them they are, but they meet face to face in the end of this issue. So yeah, I like that. I thought that was a good ending. I think the artwork's better in Future's End. It's definitely more consistent than Batman Eternal. But the other stories were, I didn't really care about them. It didn't progress the story that much. I think I cared about this a little bit more than I did Spectre and Batwing. But still, I don't think it's worth picking up. I didn't love the issue. Hopefully it does progress to become a little bit better. But I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. It just kind of bored me. Alright, so now we're up to number 9, which was very hard to rate in general. So I'm going to give it to All New Doop. Yeah. So with All New Doop, yeah, this is, like I said, it was very hard to rate because I liked All New Doop in the beginning. Like, the first 2 issues were really cute. I liked it. I was like, cool, this is a fun series I can read. I remember it was kind of high up there for All New Doop for number 1 and 2. But now it just got kind of ridiculous, and that's why it's hard to rate. Now, why did I give this higher than Future's End and Batman Eternal? I thought it was a little bit more entertaining. Even though it was very silly, this is a little bit more entertaining than those issues. Doesn't mean it's good, no, this issue's not good, but it was more entertaining. Because all it is Doop having his mommy issues. We learned a little bit of backstory with him. So I think if you read Ecstatic, you might enjoy this a little bit more. Now, I've never read a lot of Doop stuff besides this miniseries and what I've seen of him in Wolverine and the X-Men. Other than that, I don't know much about Doop, so I think maybe if you followed his journey, you'll like this issue a little bit more. But for me, it just felt so silly and out there. I think the artwork's a little bit... I think the artwork was what made the issue a little bit for me. But, I don't know, it's very silly. Like, I keep reading it, I'm like, it just keeps getting worse. Like, what's going on here? I'm not looking forward to issue 5. I gotta finish this mini-series. It's definitely entertaining in different ways. Not in a good way, but it's entertaining in what's going on with this comic type of way. So I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Yeah, you might be asking, like, why are those other 2 stories below there? Those stories were boring. At least this kind of entertained me in some way. So that is we're up to number 8, I think, now. Alright, yes, we are up to number 8, which is Superman, issue 33. Pretty good issue. I gotta say, after all new Doop, all these other issues are pretty good. All pickups. Superman, I liked it. I like where Jeff Johns going. I'm still, like, on the border, like, if I'll put it on my pull list. I'm gonna give it a couple more issues to see, okay, cool, I could go with Jeff Johns on my pull list for Superman. What pulls me away from it is John Romita Jr. art. I'm not a big fan of his artwork. Again, just personal preference. I think it's very bulky. He has a lot of lines on his faces. Facial expressions aren't great, so I don't really like his artwork that much. But it's, I've seen worse from him. I think his Avengers stuff wasn't good at all. But stick with Kick-Ass. I think his artwork for those type of things aren't that bad, but I don't love him on Marvel and DC. But yeah, that kind of pulls me away from the book. But the story's pretty good. I think it's something different. We get this new character that's Superman-like, but we learn that he's a science experiment and his parents are the scientists that created him. So it's interesting. I want to learn more about Ulysses, which is our main character for the story arc. And then we get to go back with the Daily Planet. I think they did a good job with bringing back some old elements from Superman. It's definitely better than what we've been getting with Superman with the New 52. So I'll give you that. But it's a good story. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. We'll see where it goes to see if it'll officially be on my pull list. Okay, so now we're up to number 7, which is a digital comic. Johnny Bravo, issue 1. Fun issue. I had a fun time with this. If you're a Johnny Bravo fan, you gotta get it. It really is everything Johnny Bravo. It has the same elements, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And if you're reading the Super Crisis Wars for Cartoon Network, it ties into it really well. I didn't love the first issue, Super Crisis War. I thought it was kind of out there. But this tie-in did a really good job with it. The robot thinks that Johnny Bravo is so stupid, and he kind of malfunctions because of it. So if you love all the different antics of Johnny Bravo, you'll like it. The artwork's good. It fits the story. So I like it. It's a little on the expensive side. I think it could be a $2.99 book, not really a $3.99, but you're getting enough pages for it. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I liked it. Cool issues. So I definitely recommend it if you're a Johnny Bravo fan. Alright, so now we're up to number 6, which is Godstorm, Hercules, Payne, issue 4. Another solid issue, another good issue. I liked Hercules. This is definitely point A to point B to get to that conclusion, though. The police are out to get Hercules, and he's becoming a hero. He's learning a little bit more about himself, but our main villain, who wants to kill Hercules, kidnaps the girlfriend, or I would say good friend, not really girlfriend. And Hercules is gonna have to save her. So yeah, it's a little, it's something we've seen before, but I do like this new spin on Hercules. I like the character. Artwork's pretty good too. Some of the facial expressions could use a little work, but I do like the style for the artwork. Pretty good issue. I like it. If you want a different spin on Hercules, this is definitely a miniseries you should read. And I do like the interactions between characters. And I'm looking forward to the last issues. So I'm gonna give it 3.5. Alright, so now we're up to number 5, I think, already. Yeah, we're up to number 5, which is Batman, issue 33. Finally, the end of Zero Year. The thing is, I have to rate this in a way that, yeah, I read through Zero Year, all 12 issues, or 11 issues, how much it was. a whole year of something that I think should have been a graphic novel. It's just that weight, and it's a little slow of a story. You're not learning anything. There's no revelation. It's an origin story in a way, and that might be better for a graphic novel than it is for a 12-issue story. It's a very long story. If you haven't started it yet, get the graphic novel. Don't pick it up in single issues, because the weight, it's not worth it. But the ending's pretty good. I like the ending. I thought it was a pretty epic battle between Riddler and Batman. Love the artwork. Dialogue is really good. And I like the ending between Alfred and Batman. Alfred once has a different vision of Bruce being happy. Bruce has a different vision of being happy. Alfred wants him to get married, have a happy life in that way. Bruce is like, the only thing that's going to make me happy is saving the city, being Batman. So I really like their different perspectives. Kind of remind me of Dark Knight Rises in a way. So I like the story. Again, the artwork and dialogue definitely is the best part of it, and pretty good. I liked it. It's solid. You know, I can't say it's like, oh my god, best ending ever, because it's, you know, this is a run-of-the-mill type of conclusion, but it was a pretty epic story, so I'm going to give it 4 stars. I liked it, and looking forward to the next story arc. Alright, so number 4 is The Flash, issue 33. Now, this was another solid issue, but I think more stuff happened in this issue, especially between Wally and Barry. First, we get future Barry, where we get to see that he's not the nicest guy. He has a grittier side. He's not the hero we know Barry to be, the Boy Scout in a way. So how did this happen? What is he trying to do? We're still discovering it. It's more of the flashbacks of the issue. Then Wally is not hanging out with the right people, and he gets arrested because of the Flash. Is he going to hate the Flash more? And what trouble is Wally going to get himself into? And is this going to get Barry and Iris closer? Pretty interesting story. Yeah, and that's pretty much what's going on. And our main thing is that someone, you know, the main murder story, that, you know, someone killed a person. And there's people using drugs, so who's the main killer of this murder case is someone that works in the police station, and that is Seaborn. So I think that's pretty interesting. I thought that was a cool cliffhanger, and knowing that somebody in the police station is the killer. So yeah, everything was pretty good. I think there was a good balance of different stories. We got some Patty moments, we got some Iris moments. I thought the best part really was the Wally and Barry moments. I do like the future story. I'm looking forward to see where that goes. So it was a solid story. I think it did a good job. It was a good issue. I liked it. So it was cheap price, $2.99. I think the artwork works better in this, in the Flash series, than it did in Teen Titans. I remember said it was too stylized in Teen Titans, but it does work with Flash, especially with the Speed Force. I think it works very well. So Flash, I liked it. I'm going to give this 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to see what Vendetti does. He's doing a better job on Flash than he is with Green Lantern. Alright, so now we're up to top 3. Number 3 is Daredevil, issue 6. Another solid issue. I like Daredevil a lot. I think there's some copying over here, because what happens in this issue is that we learn that Matt's father is not the best person. He beat up his wife, and that's why the wife became a nun, and then ends up going to jail because she vandalized one of these military places where they're holding weapons, and they were working with Black Panther's nation. So yeah, it's connected with Black Panther, which I'm not a big Black Panther fan, so that was probably the part I didn't love the most, but I really enjoyed the Matt and his mother scenes, and Matt learning more about his father, someone he saw as a god, as a great person, and wanted to be like his father, wasn't the best person, and he tried to hide that from himself. So I really like that story. Hopefully by the end of this story arc, we'll get to see Matt and his mom really bond, because he hadn't had a chance to. So I do like that portion of the story. His mom went to jail for the same exact reason, though, as a nun in Orange is the New Black. So I thought that was a little weird. That felt a little, you know, copying over there, because they went to jail for the same exact reasons. So I was like, oh, that reminds me exactly like Orange is the New Black. So I thought that was a little weird. But other than that, I really enjoyed the issue. Black Panther stuff, I could live without, but I do like the main focus of the issue, and I thought it was good. I don't love that they changed the artwork. The artwork's it's still good, but I do love the other artwork for Daredevil. I think it's just because they have like 2 issues a month because of the tie-in, so I understand why they need another artist. But, you know, I do like the other artwork because I think it fits so well for this series. So I'm going to give this 4 stars. I really liked it. That was number 3. Number 2 is Revival, issue 22. Finally, I'm able to review this single issue. I've been loving Revival. I think it's a great story. And with this issue, you know, just great progression for character and story. We get to see M is hanging out with this bad boy who's a Revival person also, and he's taping himself being a reviver, and then she sees a really weird video and she runs off. He's like, wait, but you're gonna be in the next video too. So is this guy gonna reveal that M is a revival to her father and to the rest of the city or town? So that's going to be a big question, I think, for me to see for the next issue, which I think is going to come soon, that M's going to have to be revealed as a revival. So the other story is with Dana. She's in New York City, and she's discovering why the hell are people killing revivals and using their meat and eating them, and who are using it. It is the 99% of New York City, Wall Street, who are eating these bodies to stay young themselves, and I think that's a really cool story. So, again, story-wise, it's interesting. Characters, what they're dealing with is great. I love the progression of the series. I love the mystery story. I'm enjoying it. I gotta give this 4.5 stars. Really looking forward to see where Revival goes. And we're almost up to issue 25, so I'm sure that's gonna be a big issue. But what's number 1? Amazing Spider-Man issue 4. So glad to see Spider-Man as number 1. It's been a while since Spider-Man has been number 1, but I really enjoyed this issue. It's a story I was really looking forward to with Silk, and I don't think it let me down. I liked what they did with Silk. I loved the comparison between Peter and Silk. How Silk is faster, her spider sense is better, but Peter's stronger. So I really like the comparison between them both, and how Silk is kind of an unpredictable character. So that's also, is she going to be a villain? Is she going to be a hero? She's very unpredictable. And by the end of the issue, we see that they kind of have a connection. Not because they love each other, it's because they literally have a connection. So they end up kissing each other because of their spider sense. And I was like, I'm kind of uncertain about the ending. Do I like it? I kind of do. I think it's an interesting story, but I gotta see where it goes. You know, I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I like their connection. It means that they're gonna be connected. And what I liked is Dan Slott always looks to the future, and they have this little 2 pages here where it's the foreshadowing of where this relationship's gonna go and why they're connected. So I really like that story, and hope Silk is not just gonna be a story arc character like Alpha and all those other characters. I really hope she's here to stay and, you know, becomes an uncertain factor of the Amazing Spider-Man universe. So I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars. I really liked it. Enjoyed Silk's character, enjoyed the story overall. So glad to see Spider-Man on number 1. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic You Know, and guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic You Know and the right situations. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Of course, I'll have Comic You Know episode 58 next week. And don't forget to tell me in the comments below what you liked this week, what you disliked, and tell me all about the comics you read this week. And if you agree or disagree on my favorites or not favorites. Hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.